The sky above Proxima Colony turned black, not from nightfall, but from fire. The first strike hit at 0400 hours. Valzor warships descended like ancient gods, silent, cold, merciless. By the time Earth's defense network registered the attack, over 900,000 lives had already turned to ash. Children, scientists, farmers, dreamers, erased. In orbit, among the ruins of Proxima, floated a single encrypted pod. Inside it, a blinking light pulsed 3 times. Then silence. Thousands of light-years away, deep beneath Earth's last military citadel, Commander Rayen Dusk stood in front of a cold steel door. Behind it was hell. A voice crackled in his earpiece. Rayen. We confirmed it. Proxima, Ganymede, and Orion 3 are gone. No survivors. Not even distress signals. It was General Vora. Even her usual iron tone trembled. They didn't come to conquer, she whispered. They came to erase us. Rayen didn't flinch. He stared at the biometric scanner beside the vault. Is the council prepared to vote? They already did, Vora replied. 12-0. Activate Dragon Core. The words echoed in his mind. Activate Dragon Core. He had waited a decade for those 3 words, and dreaded them every single day. He placed his palm on the scanner. Needles pierced his skin. The vault hissed open. Inside stood 6 containment pods, taller than tanks, pulsing with red biometric lights. The air tasted metallic, like blood and electricity. Names etched onto the glass. X01 Kale. X02 Solara. X03 Brute. X04 Echo. X05 Nova. X06 Revenant. They weren't soldiers. They weren't even human anymore. They were engineered vengeance. Built during Earth's darkest wars, then sealed away when peace tasted too sweet. Rayen had been one of the last to see them alive, before they were frozen. He pressed the master switch. Lights dimmed. A low hum began, then escalated into a roar. One by one, the pods breathed. First to move was Kale, his eyes glowing blue through the mist. 7 feet tall, skin reinforced with subdermal armor. He tilted his head, scanned Rayen, and said only one word. War? Rayen nodded. Proxima. Ganymede. Orion 3. Gone. We're next. Kale stepped forward. Behind him, Solara's pod shattered. She crouched, flames licking her arms like obedient pets. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. One by one, the monsters awoke. Later that night, in a silent war room, Rayen stood before a panel of trembling advisors. You're using them? One choked. Rayen didn't blink. They attacked our people. Burned our homes. Laughed while children screamed. So yes, I'm using them. An old senator slammed the table. They're unstable. That's why we sealed them. Rayen walked toward the display screen. With a flick, he brought up images, burning colonies, severed comms, cities reduced to rubble. You want stability? He said, voice steel. This is what stability got us. He leaned in. We didn't build monsters because we wanted to. We built them because no alien ever feared our kindness. But maybe, just maybe, they'll fear something else. Hours later, aboard the strike cruiser Valkyrie, Kale stared out the viewport as the stars blurred into lines. Faster-than-light jump initiated. Solara sat opposite him, braiding molten fire between her fingers. You think they'll stop? She asked, voice like crackling embers. Kale's gaze was fixed hard. They don't understand fear yet, he said. They will. Behind them, Rayen observed quietly. The monster handlers he once feared, now his only hope. He clutched a small photograph from his coat, a girl with curly hair, big brown eyes smiling on a beach. His daughter. Gone in the Proxima blast. He closed his eyes. No more names etched into glass. No more colonies turned to ash. This time, Earth fights back. The Valkyrie emerged from hyperspace into chaos. The skies above Arcos Prime, Earth's last military colony, were ablaze. A burning orbital station spun like a dying star, its fragments raining down like hellfire across the city. Civilians screamed through broken channels. Automated defenses flickered. The Valzor fleet moved like shadows, seamless, coordinated, unstoppable. Rayen stood on the command bridge, eyes locked on the chaos outside. His jaw tightened. "They got here faster than we thought," he muttered. Kale approached. "We deploy now." Rayen nodded. "We don't hold this colony. We lose Earth's outer shield. You and Solara drop first. Echo and Nova support from sky lanes. Brood takes the lower sectors. Revenant." He paused. Revenant hadn't spoken a word since awakening, only stared. Watching. Measuring. Rayen looked at him. "Clean up the rest." Revenant blinked slowly, and vanished. No teleportation tech. Just gone. On the ground, the city burned. Kale slammed into the surface like a meteor, shattering a Valzor walker with his landing alone. Without hesitation, he tore through metal like paper, bullets bouncing off his skin. He wasn't a man, he was a myth reborn. Above, Solara descended in a trail of flame. The air caught fire where she moved. Her voice echoed like thunder. "Burn!" And the world obeyed. Within minutes, sectors controlled by Valzor turned into molten ruins. In a hidden command bunker beneath the city, Warlord Korzenth watched the feed. Dozens of his elite squadrons, gone. Skinned, shattered, incinerated. "Explain," he hissed, mandibles clicking. "What are they?" A scout trembled. "They are human." "But not," Kor snarled. "No. This is not human warfare. This is madness. Monsters." Another commander chimed in. "One of them disappeared from sensors completely. No signal. No sound." Kor's black eyes narrowed. "Then find it. Before it finds us." Underground, in Sector 9, Valzor troops moved carefully through shadows, until they started dying. One by one. Silently. No screams. Just absence. And then he appeared. Revenant. His armor shimmered like smoke. No footsteps. No words. Only execution. He moved like a ghost through their ranks, leaving nothing but blood and broken weapons. One soldier managed to whisper a final word before dying. "Demon!" In the skies, Nova and Echo maneuvered between collapsing towers. "Target ahead," Echo said, voice cold, robotic. Half human, half interface. Nova grinned, loading twin plasma repeaters. "I'll play distraction." She rocketed forward, crashing into enemy airships mid-flight, laughing through the explosions. "God, I missed war!" Echo followed, disrupting Valzor tech mid-air, grounding entire squadrons with code-crushing pulses. Together, they turned Arcos Prime's skies into a graveyard. Meanwhile, inside a control node, Rayen moved through flickering corridors, pistol drawn. He wasn't a monster. He was just a man. But he knew something even monsters didn't: purpose. He reached the comm tower. Plugged in the beacon drive. "Earth Command. This is Commander Rayen Dusk. Arcos Prime is under siege. Dragon Core is active. Repeat, Dragon Core is active. They're holding, but barely. We need reinforcements, or this planet dies with us." A pause. Then static. Then, "This is Admiral Tran." "Understood, Commander. Earth Defense Fleet rerouting. Hold as long as you can." Rayen sighed. He looked up, only to see a Valzor assassin unit descending the corridor. He fired first. They fired back. Rayen Dove took a hit to the shoulder. Blood bloomed, pain surged, but he kept crawling toward the relay switch. He hit it. The beacon lit. Outside, a signal shot into space, a final scream for survival. Elsewhere, in the ruins of the city center, Kale stood over a mountain of corpses. He was breathing hard. Bleeding. Wounded. But he was smiling. Solara landed beside him, skin glowing white-hot. "We're losing sectors." Kale nodded. So we burn what's left. Leave them nothing to take. She looked at him. Even if we don't make it? Kale's smile widened. We were never meant to make it. We were meant to stop them. She stared at him for a beat. Then nodded. And everything around them exploded in flame. Above, Warlord Corps watched in disbelief. Entire battalions wiped out. Sky fleets ruined. Weapons jammed. His forces, dominant across 5 galaxies, losing to 6 soldiers. No, not soldiers. They are dragons, he growled. And I woke them. A moment later, the lights in his chamber flickered. A whisper moved behind him. He turned fast. Nothing. He reached for his blade. But it was already gone. A soft voice behind him whispered in perfect Valzor dialect. You should never have touched our people. It was Revenant. Fade to black. The sky above Arcos Prime was no longer burning, it was silent. Ash rained down over the ruins, drifting like snow across fallen towers and shattered fleets. Valzor bodies lay everywhere, motionless, broken, unrecognizable. Among them, scattered human limbs, torn armor, and blood, far too much blood. In the heart of the ruins, Commander Rayen Dusk dragged himself through rubble. His shoulder bled freely, his uniform half-charred, breath shallow. Every step felt like death pulling at his spine, but he wasn't done. Not yet. Overhead, Earth Defense Fleet finally broke atmosphere, warships slicing through clouds of ash like angels arriving late to heaven. Too late. Rayen collapsed near the remains of an old statue, a child holding a star. He pressed a hand to his ear. Echo status? Static. Nova? Kale? Anyone? Still here. Kale's voice came, strained. Rayen's eyes lit up. Report. Kale coughed. Solara's gone. Took a plasma spike protecting civilians. Echo's systems are fried. Nova can't fly, half her body's burned. And Revenant? Rayen asked, fear creeping in. A pause. Then Kale muttered. Gone. Vanished after killing their warlord. Left nothing but his skull, and a line. Rayen closed his eyes. What line? Kale whispered. Humanity isn't weak. It just needed something worth waking up for. In orbit, Earth's generals cheered, their screens filled with alien death and human dominance. Headlines would scream. Monsters win. Earth survives. But Rayen knew better. They hadn't won. They had survived. And there was a difference. Because now, Earth had tasted its monsters again. Rayen found Kale kneeling beside Solara's body. The flame in her chest had gone out, her skin pale, her smile peaceful. She saved the children, Kale whispered. All of them. Rayen nodded, eyes wet. She always said, her fire was never for war. It was for light. Kale didn't speak again. Nearby, Nova sat under a broken VTOL wing, her mechanical legs sparking. One eye socket was crushed, the other full of tears. Rayen crouched beside her. We're heading home. She looked up. There's no home left for people like us, Commander. Rayen shook his head. You're wrong. You gave humanity another chance. A world where kids can sleep without waking to fire. She let out a broken laugh. And the cost? Rayen placed a hand on her shoulder. Sometimes the monsters we release are the only reason the children survive to become something better. Back at the war-torn command center, emergency med teams arrived. One soldier stopped beside Rayen. Sir, the civilians are safe. What should we tell command? Rayen looked out at the ash-filled wind. Tell them we did what was necessary. Weeks later, back on Earth, a memorial was unveiled. It wasn't for the soldiers. It was for the monsters. 6 statues. No names. No ranks. Just an inscription at the base. When humanity needed hope, it sent its nightmares. Some protested. Called it immoral. Called it propaganda. But others came in silence, families who'd lost homes, children who had survived. They stood before the statues and wept. Not out of fear. Out of gratitude. Far beyond Earth, in a derelict Valzor outpost, a new scout team arrived. They found blood, bones, and one last message etched into the wall with a human blade. You wanted monsters. You got dragons. The last line flickered in faint red light. We are not the same species you attacked. We are what's left when mercy dies. Rayen Dusk, now retired, visited Solara's resting site every year. He brought no weapons. No flags. Just flowers. I told you we'd win, he would whisper, kneeling. Then, every year without fail, as the wind picked up, the grass around him would warm slightly, and a faint glow would linger in the sky. As if somewhere, one of the dragons still watched.